Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Chase here at Rocky Mountain. Thank you so much for stopping by. Say hello to the new Alpinestars Tech Air MX airbag system. This is highly anticipated. This is dropping in late 2025. And in today's video, it's gonna be a lengthy one. So buckle up, Buttercup, because there's a lot to talk about. I'm gonna try and answer as many questions as possible to help you to know if this is a system that you want to invest in. Now, as I go through it, if I don't answer some of the questions you might have, please leave those down below. We will get those answered. I've talked to the people at Alpinestars. I've sat in on classes where they've gone over all the technical features. So hopefully I answer all your questions. Now, if you're not familiar with the Tech Air system, A-Stars has been doing this for a long time. In fact, it's all kind of originated back in like 2001, well over 20 years ago. And then in 2004, that's when they started collecting data. In 2009, that's when they had MotoGP riders on the street side start to actually wear their airbag system. And then in 2016, that is how far back, almost 10 years now, that is when they started collecting data for the MX version of this. And we just saw recently they've launched the Tech Air Off-Road, which is their full protection jacket with the airbag system. I've done a long video on that, you can go watch, but now they have the MX version. Now, price on this, you're making an investment here. You're gonna be just shy of 700 bucks. But like I said, as I go through and I talk about this, there's so much incredible technology built into this. It's pretty fascinating what Alpinestars has been able to do. And in a nutshell, what this is, if you're not too familiar with the Alpinestars Tech Air systems, you have basically what is the Alpinestars A4 plasma chest protector. So you've got the same front as their A4, which I've used a lot. I absolutely love it. And then on the back, they have their plasma back protector. So just this setup by itself is going to give you CE level 1 impact protection. But what Alpinestars does is inside here, there is an airbag system. It's going to give you coverage in the front, the shoulders, and full back protection. And how they develop this is that there is a computer that sits right here underneath this white piece here on the back protector. They have 3 accelerometers and 3 gyroscopes that are communicating with this computer, and we're talking milliseconds here, 1,000 times a second that those sensors are communicating with the computer and taking all the data, all the information they've collected, again, going back to 2016, this vest can detect when a crash is going to happen, not as it's happening, but preemptively, this airbag system will deploy to offer you as much impact protection as possible. And when it deploys, okay, we're talking, I believe about 1/20th of a second, or 1/25th, somewhere around there, but all you need to know is that this thing deploys so fast that as soon as these sensors and the computer detect there's a crash that is going to happen, it inflates. So it's almost instantaneously that the airbag inflates, and it gives you phenomenal protection. How much protection does it give you? Well, they don't even really have a CE rating for this because it surpasses CE level 2, which is the highest impact protection that we have right now. They don't even have a standard for it. But what I was told is that it will give you 4 times the amount of impact protection as just the passive CE level 1 armor that is on here right now. So we're talking an incredible amount of impact absorption that you get when this airbag system deploys. So that's what the Tech Air MX system does. And I've explained a little bit of how it works. Again, you've got accelerometers in here. They've collected so much data. Even to riders that are riding today, they showed us that when a rider just had something like a simple tip over, it didn't deploy. But when they had a more severe accident, something more high speed, things like that, they showed the airbag deploy for that rider. And again, that's coming from all the data they've collected over the years from all these different riders. Jordan Smith was one of the riders that at the time, it was Arlington Supercross 2025. He was not wearing the vest, but he was wearing data collectors for Alpinestars. He had a really bad crash in the whoops, and he went back first, basically into the face of a whoop, broke some ribs, I believe punctured a lung or knocked all the air out of his lung and lacerated his spleen or liver. It was a rough crash. They were able to look at the data from that, and on the graph, they could see, yep, right here is where he was about to crash, and had he been wearing the vest, it would have deployed before he actually hit the ground. Now, is that saying it would have saved Jordan from having those injuries? There's no way to say that, but it's hard to argue that had he been wearing this and having 4 times the amount of protection is just a standard chest protector, that he wouldn't have been injured as severely. That's why this is here. Now, another common question people might have is, what about neck braces? When this goes off, it's giving you the same protection as a neck brace would, but it's not limiting the range of motion before it deploys. So it's giving you the best of both worlds. It's giving you amazing neck protection, but it's not going to limit your range of motion while riding. They do not recommend you wear a neck brace combined with this vest when you're out riding. So just keep that in mind. Okay, how does it work? You put this on like any standard chest protector. Now, you're going to want to download the free app that Alpinestars has, because you can configure this and set it up and personalize it for what you're going to want to use it for. But when you put it on, you'll notice that it's got the same buckles as their A4 Pro or A4 Plasma chest protector. However, there's actually magnets on here. So once both of these are connected, you see that? You hear that vibrate right here? Now it's on. So once you have these snapped into place, the magnets all line up, this is on and active and ready to go. It's very easy to charge. It's a USB-C that is actually just right here on the outside of the switch that you have at the bottom. And when it's lit up, it'll tell you that it's on. It has a battery indicator. And there's 3 different modes on here. And this is what is cool. So when you get this, you're going to want to configure it to the type of riding that you're going to want to do, because there is an MX version, there's an MX race, and there's a rally, and there's an enduro. And I'm going to talk about the difference between those right now. So the MX version is, again, this is all customizable. This is going to be for the casual weekend rider. You're not at a pro level, and you're going to want the airbag. And what it basically means is that the system is going to be more sensitive on the MX version, because the next is the MX race. And the MX race algorithm is what the top level pros have been using. Those guys are going at higher speeds. They might not want the airbag system to deploy as easily as, say, a casual weekend warrior or someone who races a little bit but isn't going at the speeds as the pros. And you want to be more sensitive, deploy a little bit easier, you would want the MX. But if you're a high-level rider, again, talking the pros here, and you want to not be as sensitive, you go with the MX race. Now, I was talking to Brent, who's the guy that was educating me on this system. He's kind of like me. He's a good rider. He's a weekend warrior. He's been running it in the MX version, or algorithm. And so far for him, he has not had any deployments where he didn't feel like the airbag needed to deploy. And what's cool is that, let's say you have it in the MX algorithm, not the MX race, but just the standard MX. You go out riding and you have a crash. Not something just like a simple tip over, but you have a crash where you're like, you know what? That wasn't that violent, but it deployed on me. I don't want it to be that sensitive. Well, it's very easy. In the app, you can configure it, and you can just put it in MX race. And you can use the app to switch the modes, or you can just use the button right here on the outside of the switch. It's very easy to toggle through those. You just hold it down for about 2 seconds, and you'll see it go through the different modes. So on here, you're gonna have 3 options. So in the app, that's where you configure what you want these options to be, and you just toggle right through them. It's very easy to do. Now for the enduro and the rally modes, think of it more as speed. So what they say is that for rally, think about Dakar, these insane rally racers, average of 50 miles an hour plus speed, rally mode. For enduro mode, under 50 miles an hour average speed, doing more of your technical riding, things like that, you'd want the enduro. Again, that's going to be rider preference and what type of riding you are going to be doing. And fully customizable, you can do what you want. Now, I will say, at the time of this video, I have not ridden in this yet. I plan to, so if you see footage of me riding in this right now, that's because I went and rode at it after the fact and we use that footage, just FYI. But there will be a ride review. I'm going to ride in it. Hopefully, I don't have to tell you what it was like if it deployed, but if it does, I'm hoping it's going to help me. Look, 40 years old, I need all the protection I can get. So those are the different modes that you can toggle through. And we've already talked about how fast this thing will inflate. Now what's cool is that after it inflates, well, how long does it stay inflated? It's roughly 5 seconds, and there is a valve on here. It'll automatically start to empty itself about 5 seconds after it's fully inflated. Now 5 seconds might not sound like a lot of time on paper, but you have to remember that most crashes are about 2.5 seconds max. So this thing's gonna stay fully inflated for pretty much double the time of the vast majority of crashes, and then it will start to deflate. And what's cool is that in about 20 seconds, 25, 30 seconds-ish, it's gonna be soft and squishy, and then in less than a minute, it's fully deflated, and you can continue riding. So if you are in, say, a race scenario and you do go down and this goes off and it inflates, but you're okay, you're gonna mount the bike and keep riding. Well, by the time you crash, by the time you get up, kind of pick your motorcycle up, check everything's good to go, get your bike, start riding again, you're probably about halfway there of this thing being fully deflated. So you're really not gonna have to worry about, well, can I still ride if it is fully inflated? And what's cool too is that, look, I've had one of these things. I had the Tech Air Off-Road deployed on me while I was wearing it here in the studio. And it happens so quickly, it's incredible. But in a crash scenario, you're not even gonna know that this thing has gone off. Your brain has got way more to worry about than these airbags going off. So you won't even notice it happened until you're actually stopped on the ground and realize like, oh, my airbag system went off. So it's pretty incredible how this thing works. Now, I already talked about where you plug in to charge, but I forgot to mention the battery life. A full charge will give you approximately 30 hours of ride time with this activated. So you're gonna get a ton of time before you're gonna have to worry about recharging this thing. How many deployments can you have? Well, what's cool is that you can have, they say, up to 6 deployments with this system. Now, these are the canisters. This is actually what it looks like, and they're not using CO2, it's actually argon gas that they're using inside here. The reason for that gave them just the optimal inflation, what they're looking for. So it's argon canisters. These you can buy and replace, but you need to know that inside here, it's just one canister. In the Tech Air Off-Road, there's actually 2 canisters, so you can get 2 deployments before you have to change the canister. And this, because it does live here in the back, and I'll show you here in just a moment, it's just one canister, so if it does deploy, if you're riding, you would need to come off, put a new canister in if you want it to deploy again if you did have another crash. Just keep that in mind. But after, say, 6 deployments, 5 or 6, that's when they recommend that you take this and send it to Alpinestars. And if you send it in, that means that they're gonna give you new airbags all inside here and a new canister. They're gonna wash it, clean it, and then send it back to you. And the turnaround time is pretty quickly. They said maximum, you're gonna be 2 weeks to get this thing shipped back to you. So, but you don't have to send it in after 5 or 6 deployments. It'll continue working for you for as many deployments as you want it to. You just got to remember that with that airbag, the more you pump it up and deflate it, just like any other balloon or whatever, over time, it's going to wear out, and you just want to have it reevaluated to make sure that it's working correctly. There is also, what's kind of cool, this little kind of integrity check valve that they have here. And what you can do with this is to just ensure the integrity of the airbag. And how this works is simple. You just remove the canister. I'll get to that next. Remove the canister, thread this in, and then you would actually just remove this cap, put it on the airbag, and you pump it up to about 12, 14 PSI is all you're gonna need if you're using a pump that's got a gauge on it. And then you would just listen and see if you can hear any air coming out of that airbag. And of course, if you did, you'd absolutely wanna send it into Alpinestars. If it does go off, you can repack it yourself. So on the shoulders, it'll come out the sides to give great shoulder protection here. And they have it right there, instructions on there written down so you know how to fold it up. You just tuck it right back inside here. And this thing's gonna give you plenty of room for expansion. So for the chest and the back, you're not gonna have to do anything there. It's just the shoulders that you're gonna have to fold back up and put inside there. But another cool little thing is here in the front. So they're, again, same chest protector as the A4 Pro. But it is nice that you can see they use their polyhedron technology to help this thing ventilate. You can see air going right through that chest. So again, when this thing inflates and goes off, you're gonna have full chest. But when it's just sitting here as it is now, you are gonna be able to have airflow going through that. In the back, you're not gonna see that. Again, that's just where the computer, all that lives. And now, really looking at it, I will say that the only 2 drawbacks that I would see, look, price, I get it. You know, you're shy of $700. But look, people spend that on knee braces. You spend that on helmets. And if you're really concerned about having the best impact protection, yeah, it's expensive, but it's technology that you're not gonna see anywhere else. However, the only 2 things that I can see, like why riders might think, oh, I don't know, is the weight. So I did weigh it. It comes in about 4 pounds in a size medium, so quite a bit heavier than most chest protectors, and it's just not gonna ventilate as well as some of the other options that are out there. Those are really, I think, the 2 big factors that you're gonna have to deal with is the weight and just not ventilating as well. Okay, so we showed you all that. Let's take a look at the inside here. And just so you know, when you disconnect these clips, it will turn the system off. Hear that? So it just vibrated to let me know, hey, this is deactivated, it's no longer connected. And inside here, there is a mode for travel. So if you're gonna be traveling or you're gonna be storing it and you're worried about it falling or going off accidentally, there is inside here. So if I open this up and if I unzip it, this will give me access to the computer. So this is the airbag that sits right here in the back. This is that valve that I just mentioned. This is where the air is going to escape after it fully inflates. And then you're just gonna have a couple little tabs here on the side. So it's just like a button on your t-shirt. You're just gonna take those off. Let me do that real quick. If I lift that up, that is going to give me access to, there it is. That is your canister. This is your computer, and again, those sensors are inside here as well. So this is the switch right here, on, off. So if you want to turn this off, so even when it's buckled up, it's not going to turn on, you just flip it to off. It's that easy. When you're ready to use again, flip it back to on. The canister, to swap it yourself, is very, very simple. So if you want to buy a few extra of these, now on these they're going to be just over $100 per canister. You can buy extras of these or you can wait till it goes off. It's your choice. But to replace it, it's very simple. You're just going to detach this yellow piece here, and then it literally just unthreads. You thread the other one back on, you're good to go. I watched Brett do it. Took him maybe 20, 30 seconds max to do that. So it's very simple to do it yourself. You're not gonna break anything, you're not gonna ruin it. You just thread this one out, put the new one on, reconnect this connector, pop it back in there, it's just Velcro, put that back in, zip it all back up, you're good. All right, let me do this all back up real quick. I'll do those buttons here in a second. Now, this is a chest protector, meaning that it does fall into our fit guarantee. So if you buy this and you want to go up or down a size, it is available in multiple sizes. We will give you free shipping both ways on your first exchange to make sure you get the size and the fit that is going to be best for you. Absolutely, you can wear this by itself as just a chest protector. So if it did inflate and it went off, but you didn't have an extra canister, just wait for it to deflate, put the shoulders back in, you can put it on and wear it just like any other chest protector that you would on any other given day. Hopefully, I've answered all your questions. There's a lot to dive in here. There's a lot of incredible technology. But again, if you are looking for the most impact protection that is available in a chest protector or a protection jacket or street, Alpinestars has done a phenomenal job with this technology. There's a lot of organizations with MotoGP and other circuits that require an airbag system when you go race. I personally think that we're not too far away from seeing, as the technology advances, in motocross here in the States or even MXGP, where we're gonna start to see requirements for systems like this, just because it is offering that much more protection than just your standard chest protector that is available now. Questions, comments about it, please leave those down below and we will get those answered. To grab one, click the link or head to RockyMountainATVMC.com. Like I had mentioned, I've already done a video on the Tech Air off-road, so if you want to learn about that, go give it a watch. As always, we ship for free over $75. And subscribe to the Rocky Mountain YouTube channel if you want to stay up to date on products like this. I'm Chase, and we'll see you on the trails.